Churn and burn text game method. I'm going to cover a little bit of that, and we're going to just give my thoughts on text game and just getting to the point, churning and burning. But before we kick it off, I'm Dave, and this channel is dedicated to giving you no BS, novel dating advice for the modern man. Top link in the description. Check out my website and get some coaching with me. And also in the description you can get my 3-part video series with a free PDF just by entering your email in. So, the churn and burn method. This should really be the default method for all men out there. So let's just say you've run some good game, nightclub or day game, and you've got the girl's number, right? You text her. Whether she replies or not, you send the usual default, waiting for her to respond. You might refer to something that happened during the interaction. You might throw in a name, you might throw in a hint of what you organized to do during the cold approach. You get a message back, but generally, with a lot of numbers out there, you'll get the girl's number and she'll eventually just go cold. That lead will go cold. She'll start ghosting you. She'll start maybe... It could even be a couple of weeks of continuous text messages back and forth, and then out of nowhere she just stops. Now, there is a bit of a theory out there is that you shouldn't keep texting her because you're going to come across needy. But my counter argument to that is, if you are not texting her and she's not texting you, then nothing's happening anyway. You got nothing happening. It's pretty much your job to push the text thread to its natural conclusion, whether that is either turning up for a date, her telling you that she's not interested, or you've got like a few messages over the course of a week just loaded up and she hasn't responded. You've asked her 3 questions or something like that. You're like, what's going on? And then after that, you just delete, block, whatever, move on, next, forget about that girl totally, move on to the next one. That's pretty much what I think you should be doing with all of your texts or your new leads. I'd like to also add that you shouldn't be taking social media. You shouldn't be getting a girl's Instagram. You shouldn't be getting any sort of social media off a girl. I don't think so, unless you are an influencer yourself and you have a massive following, and as soon as she connects with you, she's just going to go, wow, this guy's got an awesome life, I'm keen to meet up with him. If you are not that guy and you don't have an awesome following, or you are mega rich and you're showing this extravagant lifestyle on your social media, it is risky for you to do so. So I would argue that you shouldn't do that. And churning and burning really is. So you text her, she replies back, replies, right? The whole point of you getting her contact information is to line up a date. You're not really there to build rapport as pen pals via text. That happens in person, right? And so if you're not lining up the date, you're in a bit of a bind, aren't you? If she's really busy, obviously you can't meet up with her, so therefore you need to keep the lead warm. Minimum every couple days, keep the lead warm until you actually meet up with her in person and line up a date. But apart from that, if she starts ghosting you and you send that last message and she doesn't respond, literally 2 days later you need to send another message. If she doesn't respond to that, wait another 2 days, send that final message. If nothing happens, delete that text thread, get rid of that contact out of your life and forget about that flaky girl, and move on to the next one. Because if you spend too much time dwelling on her, that, firstly, what's the return on investment? That time could be spent somewhere else, texting another girl. Secondly, dwelling on one girl can cause you to make you angry. It can diminish your self-confidence and your belief in yourself. There's a lot of negatives there. So I think you churn and burn and you push to its natural conclusion. every 2 days, boom, boom, boom. If she hasn't responded, delete that thread, get rid of her out of your life, forget about her. Spend that time finding a girl that is worthwhile you spending your time on her, right? A girl that's flaky and ghosting you and not replying in time, just get rid of her. There's also another aspect to that, is that if you're simping after girls, girls get used to men being simps. Churn and burn, so that they understand that you have self-respect, and other men have self-respect as well. You see what I mean? So try to think about the way you're behaving if you're simping too much to girls, the negative effects on the rest of society as well as that. So there's many reasons why I believe that the churn and burn method should be your default method. On top of that, when you get a girl's number, I don't think you should put her name as a contact in your phone. I think that it should just be her number, and she only becomes real, you put her name in there once she's proven that she's not a flaky girl or someone that's going to ghost you. And that means that you either need to be sleeping with her or seeing her on a regular basis, where you know that whenever you text her or call her, she's going to respond. You know, she's not going to just disappear the very next day, which a lot of girls do in the early stages of this building an emotional connection phase, right? And that's when a lot of men start to get hurt. They start to lose their self-respect, they start to lose their self-confidence, and what we're trying to do here with the churn and burn method is to keep you confident, keep you have self-belief, you know, build momentum, churn and burn, move on next, and not waste your time. So hopefully that made sense. Just a quick little video just to put out that idea that I had, because I had a client recently that was he didn't have time to do his admin. He couldn't keep up with his admin. He had so many numbers and so many flaky girls and girls that just wouldn't turn up to dates, that he couldn't keep up with all of them, and none of them were really turning up, none of them were really coming to the party. He wasn't really dating or sleeping with any of them, and he just spent all of his time on the phone. We needed to churn and burn through all of those flaky girls and girls that were unreliable, and find the ones that were reliable, and that's something that we ended up doing, and he's now seeing success and feeling a lot better about his text game. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And finally, if you are having trouble scheduling when you get a girl's number and you end up texting her, "When are you free next?" You know what happens then. She very rarely tells you. You know, just say, for instance, you go, Friday 6 p.m, let's meet up and have dinner together. You get a response saying, "Oh, I'm working. Sorry, I'm busy Friday." You very rarely, if ever, get that second text message saying, "Oh, and here's my schedule for the rest of the week. Let's see if we can match up somewhere." They very rarely, if ever, do that. And if you have a scheduling problem like that, that's a logistics problem, and that's really a cold approach problem. That means you need to go reverse engineer everything you're doing all the way back to the beginning and fix up your cold approach. That's why you're having that. And then you get to the point where you just send her a message going, "What's your schedule for the week?" because you've run out of ideas. Yeah, churn and burn, make sure you fix up your cold approach, and it should fix up a lot of these problems. So hopefully that made sense. Hopefully that's helpful for you guys. Just a quick little video. I think this is a message that I wanted to put out quickly. That's why I had to get on here and say it. So I'll see you guys in the next video.